visuals also.
How's it, guys? We're just waiting for half past. Just playing some Joshgen tunes for you. Enjoy the music. Welcome to Ilse and the Van der Linde clan in New Zealand. And I see the Delports are here. Jared, Bartlett, Geru,
The Bigs.
the Becks, and Anli. Anli is okay. Hi, Greg. Oh. Hi guys.
Yes, more night.
Awesome. Can I maybe? So we're trying something new tonight. We're going to be doing a Zoom chat with Andre and Ben. And so can I see just from the from you guys watching? Do you see? Can you hear Andre speaking? Andre, sê gou vir ons hallo
Hello
daar.
guys. Hello Mornay. Hello almal.
Hello Andre. Is that coming through? Just maybe give us a thumbs up there. Talking into the nothingness. Can you guys hear us? Loud and clear. Great. Can you hear Andre? Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you guys. Thanks
Hello
for the
again.
feedback. So it's good to see all you guys tonight. We've changed the time a little bit, and maybe I can jump straight into an introduction. I just want to see how the numbers are doing, see how many of you are still signing on. All right, maybe we can just chat a little bit. Let me show you our faces tonight. So just remember, Raptor is still part of the competition, and as soon as you spot Raptor, you can win a bag of Astros.
Molly, Daddy.
Just need to get rid of the cat there.
Molly.
All right. So just keep an eye on the screen there. There's Sarah. Greg saw Raptor. Finally, Greg, you beat the Delports. So the Fen boys can come and fetch their packet of Astros. So just for tonight, I don't know, you guys have probably heard the good news that churches can start meeting again from stage 3, and stage 3 is starting on Monday. And so we'll be preparing the church. There is a whole bunch of procedures and protocols that we need to get into place, and so we're hoping to start next week Sunday, but we might only be able to start the following Sunday. There's a whole bunch of regulations, and so we can meet 50 people or less in the venue. We are allowed to meet, looks like any day of the week, and we are allowed to have more than one service on a day. But we have to limit the service to 2 hours or less. But you guys know that won't be a problem for us. And then we have to have a 30-minute intermission in between. And so, so we'll run it like that. And then we'll have to do screening at the doors. Only one person on worship, and we won't be allowed to sing, which is quite interesting, and obviously all the other things like face masks and hand sanitization and that type of thing, and thermometers at the door. And so I'm sure that all of us have got different feelings and about these regulations, and some of us might be fearful and don't want to come to church, and some of us might be overly bold and think that we don't need to use any of these precautions. And so just to help us as a church, I felt tonight to firstly just do an introduction with 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 out of the New International Version. And there it says that God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And just, fear will back. Fear will cause us to become immobile. Fear will cause us to overreact and not act in a sound mind. But God has given us power, and He has given us His Spirit. And so I think we are able to meet, but with these restrictions in place. And so I would like to just bring in 2 experts tonight to speak to us about what is COVID-19, what is the virus, and we're just going to have a conversation with them. You guys both know them, and so we're going to do a Zoom conversation. And so we've already got Andre on the line, and I'm just going to switch over to that. Where is that slideshow? And there we go. There's Andre. And we're going to transition that. And there's Ben. And I'm going to try and make this picture better. Oh, that's a full screen. Exit full screen. I'm going to go into the gallery view. There we go. Ben, is jy daar?
Hallo, hoor julle my? Gaan dit goed?
Het gaan goed. Ons hoor jou loud and clear.
Andrei?
Hallo Benny.
Hallo Andre. Ek het gedink ons kan miskien net begin praat vanaand. We can maybe just start talking. Most of the congregation know you guys, but there might be some people that are watching that don't know you. And so maybe Andre, you can kick off. Just tell us who you are, where you're from, where you got your qualification, and do you have your something about your family, something interesting. Go for it, Andre.
Hi guys, I'm Andre Botha. I'm currently in Mossel Bay. I married a local. Her name is Carolina. I've got 2 kids, Caleb and Hannah. Caleb's turning 3, Hannah is turning 1 this year. I studied in Johannesburg at the University of the Witwatersrand and qualified in 2010. Currently a medical officer at Mossel Bay Provincial Hospital, and this is now my 6th year working there.
Awesome. I see there's a little bit of a lag, so don't try and lip read, but I'm sure that you'll be able to understand. Benny, stel jouself gou voor aan ons asseblief.
Yes, my name is Benny Schmidt. I studied in Bloemfontein in the Free State, where it's cold and hot in summer and cold in the winter, and it's freezing there. But Mossel Bay has got good weather. I'm also working with Andre at Mossel Bay Provincial, where I've been there, working there for 8 years already. Also did my community service there, 2012. And I'm married to Lizanne. She's optometrist at Specsavers, currently not working, but she's looking after the kids. I've got also 2 kids. The one is Lisa, she's 4 years old, busybody and an entertainer, the drama queen of the house. And then Joshua, he's 2 years old, and he's the calm and relaxed. He's the relaxed one. So he's keeping us busy in a different way, but we're enjoying them, and we're working hard. So yeah, that's our story.
Good. It's good to have you guys with us. Sorry, man, guys. I just want to sort out. There's a slight little technical thing that I have to do so that we can see the questions that are coming in.
There you go.
Great. So now we can see. And so, guys, I'm going to ask a couple of general questions, just so that we can get an idea of what's going on and why do we have to have all these social distancing and wearing masks and all the regulations that we have. But the idea is that you guys can tonight ask some questions. And so if you have a question, Sarah and Irina will be watching your questions online, and then I can pose those questions directly to either Ben or to Andre. So here's a pen and paper for you, Lovey. And so maybe the first question that I want to ask you guys is what is COVID-19? Maybe Benny, you can kick off with that. What are we facing here?
So yeah, COVID-19, I think everybody is already a little bit exhausted about all the information that we have about COVID-19. So what is COVID-19? No, it's not a conspiracy. Unfortunately, the illness is real.
Newman.
Some people... So I just debunked a few people having conspiracies about this. COVID-19 is a virus. It's an influenza-like virus. It's family of the SARS and the MERS that was about 10 years ago. Unfortunately, it has been started in the Wuhan country in China, as you all know, and it looks influenza-like. And why it's got the corona name is because it looks like a crown. So they have studied it already. They have seen it. They have isolated it, and they have seen it under a microscope and stuff. But the problem is, the coronavirus is an upper respiratory tract virus, and the problem with this is its infection rate is a little bit different than influenza. So they've started seeing it in December in China, so that's why they call it the COVID-19 or the SARS-CoV-19. That's what they call it now. It's because of the year that it's found and the way it looks. So it's to not be technical or scientific about it. It's an influenza type virus, and it's affecting our lives. And I think everybody has seen or read about it. So I don't want to be scientific about it.
So Andre, wie is bysit?
Benny was baie volledig daar.
Sê vir my, so how dangerous is COVID-19? Andre, miskien antwoord vir ons daai,
Well, so far, if you look at the numbers and the period that it has taken to cause that amount of deaths, I think it is quite a dangerous virus. I know there's been a lot of talk about there's different illnesses that caused many more deaths over a certain period, but if we look at the time period, it's just been a couple of months and it actually already killed thousands. So yes, it is a dangerous virus, but it seems to be more dangerous for the higher risk population. So it's not something we need to treat lightly.
So I've in the regulations and also in the newspapers, you read that it seems to be more dangerous for people that are older. Do you guys want to comment on that? Maybe what comorbidities? Who's more at risk in the population? Benny, wie daai ene fout?
Ja, so een vir een.
Ja, jy kan maar gaan.
I'll go and then Benny can top up with the ones that I forget. So yeah, it is the elderly. It's usually also the guys with who's immunosuppressed. So if we look at our country and our population, it would be people with HIV, lung disorders, chronic obstructive lung diseases, previous TBs or current TB. So just the respiratory tract that is at higher risk of being exposed and then contracting the virus. Studies have also now shown that it's people with other comorbidities like high blood pressure, diabetes, your obese patients. So those usually go hand in hand with metabolic syndrome, the obese, diabetes, high blood pressure. And then any type of other immunocompromised patients, your cancer patients, people undergoing chemotherapy, those kind of things. So they, in general, it tends to be the immunocompromised.
And so obviously those people need to isolate and be more careful than your general population. Am I right?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, for me, I don't know if you guys are wearing masks. I used to work in a hospital, so there you get proper masks. These cloth masks, you wonder whether they are actually functional or whether they're useful. But as from my reading, I've just noticed that you're wearing the mask not for yourself, you're wearing it for someone else. And I was actually at the spa the other day and I bumped into Heather. And as I was talking, I had a few, I must have had something stuck in my teeth and it got caught in the mask. So I can tell you those cloth masks definitely work to protect other people. All right, we've got a question
and
here.
Also,
Yeah,
and also if you have eaten garlic the night before, it definitely helps. Seeing patients, yeah.
Dit help vir die vrou en die kinders ook. Ek het 'n eerste vraag hierso. Die vraag is van Hester, wat in die pad af is, Hester Smit, né?
Why do people die?
I see we're mixing Afrikaans and English here. That's why
No.
I'm going to translate here. Why do people die?
Of it.
Of COVID. Obviously, I'm not asking a philosophical question. Why do people die from COVID?
So, yeah, can I?
Yes,
Andre?
you can answer them.
Is that right? So, apparently when people have COVID, we normally tend to see in the media that they say this patient died of COVID but has this and this comorbid disease. So we normally see that those patients who have passed away of this has some underlying condition. And I think in China and I think in some Asian country they did do post-mortems on these patients. And they did see that there was some pulmonary embolism involved as well. So mainly we are treating a respiratory disease, but we sometimes see cancer patients or DVT patients with blood clots struggling with pulmonary embolism. So they initially present with shortness of breath, a tight chest, and all the influenza symptoms. But if they passed away, then we see on the post-mortem that they actually had a pulmonary embolism, which is actually very difficult to detect initially when patients present in the hospital. So all this talk about ventilators and ventilating and oxygen is sometimes just the start of the presenting symptoms, but the underlying problem is not just oxygen and air. It is indirectly that, but it's sometimes the underlying condition as well. So it's they pass away because of the respiratory tract completely occluding of oxygen and blood flow, and that affects the heart, and that affects all the organs. So we sometimes see them going into organ failure after that. So it's a whole cascade of things happening. It's not just the heart or the lungs stopping. It's a whole cascade of things happening. So people pass away. If we do post-mortems on everyone, if we could see that there was only the COVID triggered this. It's not the COVID itself. So it triggered the whole story.
Okay, thank you, Ben. That is, I hope you guys understood that. But that's the answer, Esther. So currently, it seems like, from what I've picked up, the mortality rate is around about 1.7%. Am I right?
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Or South Africa.
In South Africa.
So
what is South Africa's mortality rate?
In South Africa, it's actually not that bad. We've got now over 500, I think, deaths, and we've got 29,000, I think 27,000 people infected. I think in South Africa we've got 0.06 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what's today's rate or ratio, but we're actually doing well.
So just to put that in, Andre?
Sorry, we've managed to slow it down and flatten the curve quite well up until this stage. So I think our numbers will definitely be affected in the time to come now with lockdown being reduced. So it would be interesting to see what's going to happen.
So I think for me that's good to hear. You know, you sit here at home for, how long has it been now? It feels like forever.
64 days?
60 days. And you wonder, is it all worth it? So it's good to hear that we've actually been able to keep the death rate down. And 0.06%, that's less than 1 person in 100. And so I just want to maybe speak into that fear thing, is that yes, people are dying from it, but if you are healthy, if you don't have any of those comorbidities or those underlying diseases, and you are under 60, then the chances of you dying from COVID is not big. Am I right in saying that?
That's correct.
Yes.
Maybe tell us, what are the symptoms that you present with COVID-19?
So that's that's kind of a tough one as well, because mostly it's being categorized as upper respiratory tract symptoms. So you'll have sore throat, a bit of a cough, fever, and your typical flu-like symptoms, especially with like body pains. That's in general now, but we've had patients worldwide now that actually has been asymptomatic and still tested positive. So but in general, mainly upper respiratory tract symptoms, and then in severe cases they do present in quite severe respiratory distress, struggling to breathe, and then at times needing to intubate. So there's two broad. The spectrum can vary in a sense.
Okay, so just to put that, upper respiratory tract distress is when you can't breathe, and you mentioned a big word there, Andre, asymptomatic. What does that mean?
So you don't feel sick at all, not even a runny nose, no cough. You feel actually 100%.
So how many people will not feel sick at all? So I could have COVID and I won't even know it.
Probably.
You're a poet. You don't know it.
even know it.
Well, okay, that's good to know. All right, let's move on. Can COVID be treated?
Yeah, we'll get to the question.
Can I drink a pill? Can you cure it like with an antibiotic?
Andre, mine or yours? I think the problem with that is everybody think once you get a test and you're tested positive, it can be cured. Unfortunately, there's no cure yet. There's a lot of speculation about that anti-malaria pill But unfortunately, no medication is actually worth using. So the only thing is symptomatic treatment. So the symptomatic treatment is something like paracetamol for the fever and Allergex for the throat and symptomatic things. So there's no treatment, it's only symptomatic treatment. So it's not to cure the illness, it's just to get the illness faster and better.
So in other words, it's all that they can do for you is they can make you feel better. But we can't actually get rid of the virus. And so the only way to get better from the virus is that your body then starts fighting it and builds up an immunity against the virus.
That's correct.
So here's a question that I have is can I get COVID again? If I've had it once, can I get it a second time?
I can ask. I'm going to ask, but I'm going to tell you something, and then Andre can also add or include as well. So the thing is, now they say this is an influenza-like thing. Have you had influenza twice? So yes, you unfortunately had. But the thing is, now the problem is every time you have an influenza, there was a type of a mutant influenza. So the one that we're seeing now, we haven't had anyone having it twice. Although they say people have it twice, but they haven't proved it yet. So they think that we might or we can have it twice, but the second time you will have it, you won't have any. You will probably have it in a lighter sense that you had it. But the problem is we're not sure. We haven't had any proof or any studies yet that has been longer than a year. So some people say yes and some people say no. So we're not sure actually what the correct answer is for that. The thing is, if you had it the first time, you survived it. You will probably have, if you have it the second time, you will survive it again. So I think that's an easy answer, but it's not an easy answer. I'm not sure if Andre.
Okay, Ben, that doesn't make me feel better, but Andre.
No, so this hopefully this also helps to answer. If you look at the flu or the regular influenza and the yearly vaccines that they give us, they also give you the vaccine in the most common strains that occur. So even the normal influenza virus has different strains or different mutations, as Benny mentioned. So COVID-19 is still new, so it is the virus that can mutate and cause different strains. So that is also why I think they're working on a vaccine in terms of just preventing a second infection in the future, in a sense, yeah.
Okay.
So difference occurs, so yes, you can get it the second time, theoretically.
Theoretically.
Are we going to be in lockdown for the rest of our lives? Don't answer that. All right.
Not fear.
We don't know. All right.
Fear.
Don't fear. Let's go back to the scriptures. What are the chances of you getting COVID-19 as a normal person in the population? What?
So I'll take this one. So the chances is initially when the statistics came out, they said statistically one would be exposed to COVID-19 60 to 80%. So of the population, 60 to 80% of the population would be exposed to COVID. Not everyone would fall ill, and not everyone would need hospitalization. But that was the initial stats. Now, if we look at, there's about 6 million now, 6 million people infected all over the world. I'm not talking about people who recovered yet. And there's 7.8 billion people. We are not nearly statistically there where we thought we would be. So initially we thought that we're going to have 60 to 80% chance of being exposed to COVID-19. So if we put that in perspective, in Mossel Bay itself, there's I think 115,000 people. If we take about 60 to 80% of that, then we would have more than 60 to 80,000 people in Mossel Bay Hospital being exposed to COVID-19, either being sick or not sick. So the thing is now, we're not sure in which timeline or time frame it would be. So the chances are good. I mean, anything more than 50% chance of having COVID-19 if we don't go according to the law, if we don't try to flatten the curve, chances are that we're going to be exposed to COVID-19. And I think that is what law and regulation tries to avoid. If we are exposed to COVID-19, is there then immunity already? Is there vaccine ready already? Or if we are healthy, or if we stick to the plan, I think that's what they try and prevent. If everyone is at the same time exposed to COVID-19, what's the effect going to be to everyone and the hospital system? I think that is the initial stats.
So I think what I can hear from you saying is that you're probably going to get the virus. But if you are healthy and you stay healthy, then you're probably not going to get seriously ill. But the reason why we are wearing masks and we're self-isolating and we have 1.5 meters between each other and we are staying at home is so that we, the healthy people, don't infect the people that are not healthy. And so, in other words, that we're not spreading the sickness around. And if those people then do get sick, we want hospital beds for them. And if all of them arrive at the hospital at the same time, there won't be enough beds and lives will be lost. And so I think that's the whole rationale behind the lockdown and the social distancing and so on. And so the reason why we're going to be doing all these things at church is to keep you safe, but most of us will probably be all right, even if you get the disease. It's for those few exceptions of people where we can save a life. And I think we can all agree that every life is worth saving. And so just remember that when we go to church and we can't hug, we can't touch one another, we're going to be taking your temperature, we're going to be asking you to fill in a register, we're going to be asking you to not sing along with the worship. You're doing that for a very good reason. You're doing that so that the disease won't spread, and by doing that you could be saving a life. And I think we can all agree that that is well worth doing. And I'm sure that pretty shortly we will either hit herdal immunity or hopefully everything will return back to normal. But we don't know, do we? All right. Is there any?
There's some questions.
There are a few questions.
Do children die from COVID, and where did it come from?
Okay, I think Benny did answer that. Where did COVID come from? They speculate that it came out of Wuhan, China, and that it came from a bat. Someone ate a bat and didn't cook it properly, and the virus from there jumped from animals into humans, and that's where I think that's speculation and assumption probably. Can children die from COVID-19? Andre?
Yes, they can. So if they are also immunocompromised, then I'm sure there is a possibility. I don't think we've had any in South Africa thus far. I'm not quite 100% sure of the stats worldwide, but children so far are the least affected by all of this.
So I'm sure there's parents sitting out there and you're wondering, like, well, the schools are opening on Monday? Are they opening on Monday for the grade 12s and grade 7s? Should I send my children to school or not? Should I? Wie wil DNA?
I'm probably going to put mine to school.
So Andre says he's sending his to school. Benny, gaan jy jou kinders skool toe stuur?
Julle moet vir Lizaan dalk vra. Sy sal dalk sê definitief. So yeah, the thing about the school is, I think if there's good precautions at school and there's good hygiene and they can social distance the children, then I think it's a good practice. But the thing is now, I don't think I'm talking under correction here, but I'm not sure whether everything is sorted out or everything is in place or the plan. And maybe the teachers out there can help us if they've got good plans and good protocols going at school. I don't think I mind children going to school. But if you have parents who's already chronically ill and you send your children to school and they come back being a carrier of COVID, then I think then we've got a problem. But if you've got healthy parents and they don't have any underlying diseases, then I don't have a problem with them.
Thank you, Benny. Sorry, I'm smiling because Greg just said I gave you a hospital pass.
Next question.
The next question.
How prepared are the Mossel Bay hospitals for the predicted peak?
I think Michelle asked, how prepared are you guys for
the hospitals?
How prepared are the Mossel Bay Hospital and the George Hospital for a peak?
I think we're well prepared. There's plans and protocols in place. We've got specific wards. The problem is with the numbers. If there's a massive peak, it's not possible to ventilate everyone or to give everyone high flow oxygen. So if it really peaks and there is a lot of severely ill people, then we can run into trouble. Okay. So then, regardless of how well your protocols are in place or how well you've planned everything, it all comes down to bed availability and ventilation and oxygen support.
So I think we are as well prepared as we can be, and that's still why we want to keep the curve down. So stage 3 is not a free-for-all, so be responsible. All right, let's...
what does the doctor say? Must I read it?
I just want to filter smoke some of it. Sorry, let me try my glasses here. We are going to be running out of time soon. I think, can we get you guys on for some more time?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Andre?
Yep.
Why did they say in the death certificate that it's COVID-19 when they actually died of another symptom?
Okay, so now yes, I think it's a difficult question. Theo asked it. So I think he's maybe making an assumption. So you can just answer as you see fit. Why does the doctor say on the death certificate that a patient died from COVID-19 when the patient might have died from another cause?
Yeah, that is a difficult question. I think there is a lot of fake news going around, especially social media, that in America, I think they didn't even go and witness the body and said that this patient is possibly passed away because of COVID-19. We haven't had any information or anything passed around from government to say that if we suspect a patient passing away from COVID, we should definitely write it as COVID-19, the cause of death. So I haven't personally yet been forced to write any COVID-19 instead of, like, say, a heart attack or a pulmonary embolism or a stroke or something like that. So I haven't been forced or I haven't been manipulated into writing COVID-19 for stats purposes. We do screen patients in hospital, we do the swabs, and we do have a patient or two that has been tested positive. We sent home already who's been recovered. And I haven't been in that situation where we were forced to write stats for stats purposes that they passed away of COVID-19, knowing that they passed away of something else. So we weren't in that situation yet where we were forced or anything. I think when the masses come, I think that is when, if there's a household of 4 people and 3 people already passed away because of COVID-19, and there's an old lady in there, 89 years old, and she's found passed away at home, I think the assumption would be she probably contracted COVID-19 as well. It will be very difficult to then do a post-mortem on everyone just to say, listen, this patient passed away of something else naturally. So that's my feeling. I don't think we are forced to write down COVID-19 for stats and to fake something. I don't think that's the in South African situation yet.
Yeah, so I think I agree with that's very well answered there, Benny. I think that's going more to the sound mind aspect of the Timothy scripture, is that that's maybe things that are happening in America, if that is true or not. But there's so many things out there these days. How do you know what's true and what's not? And so it's great to hear that you guys aren't being forced or prescribed to put something on a death certificate that might skew the stats. And so we can still trust the stats that we are getting.
And Michael wants
Andre,
to...
jy het nie 'n circular gekry nie, né? Ek het hom gemis dan.
Andre, was your email off? Steve's got a general question. I just want to ask it. So I've also experienced this. Walking into the shops, you get that thermometer pointed at your head. I've had some very interesting readings. I've had 35, 34, and then I see whether I'm still walking, because at 34 I think I'll be dead. So when your temperature is being taken, Steve's question is, how accurate is it? Andre.
Probably not accurate at all.
Can you still live at 35?
If you... Excuse me, right?
Kan jy nog lewe op 35
grade
Celsius?
Well, apparently so, yeah. I think there's been like 32, 33 degrees measured, so those probably are like Walking Dead sort of. So I guess it's possible, but I think they don't really focus on that. As long as your temperature to them, I guess, is not above 38, they're not too phased about it. And it's operator dependent. So I think you need to be trained to actually know what those temperatures mean in a way as well.
Yeah, so I think the short answer there is that that's simply a screening method, and you're gonna some people are going to slip through perhaps, but some people are going to be caught, especially if they do have high temperatures. So it's not so I've got 20 seconds left. We're going to shut down this Zoom meeting, and then I'm going to just bring up another one. So guys, please bear with us. And
maybe if they have questions, I can put it in.
And if you've got questions, just bring them in so long. All right, I'm shutting down this meeting. $32.8. Steve, I think 32.8 is definitely too low. Oh shucks. Back to meeting. I don't want to go back to meeting. Oh, there we go. There's a meeting. Participants, invite, copy the link, copying the link, and we're sending it through to our COVID chat. Alright, I'm sure the guys will join. I've sent them through the links, so I'll just accept them.
Steve's asking 32, between 32 and 36. Andre's saying 38.
Your temperature, yes, this is now taking me back a long time. But somewhere between 36.5 and 37, I would imagine, would be normal. Andre is busy joining. So is there anyone else?
Here's a question. Why do they test the way they do? Okay, wait, maybe thermometer. What is the best thermometer to use?
An accurate one, Amy. So the question to which thermometer is the best thermometer to use is an accurate thermometer. So those old ones, if you're using it within your family, you can use an old thermometer. They're just as accurate as these fancy ones that you put in your ear or that you scan with infrared. Welcome terug, Andre. But obviously in large settings you can't use an oral thermometer or the other one. So I think that's why they use the infrared thermometers. I'm just waiting for Andre. Okay, for Benny. We've got Andre here. Okay, maybe we can just ask, if you've got any more questions, just send them through to us. Andre, sê gou vir ons 'n bietjie vaccines. Do you know, are they making progress with the vaccines? And can we expect one soon?
And how safe is it going to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's I'm not sure how far everyone is, but there's a few countries in the running of developing a vaccine. How far they are with it, I'm not 100% sure. Recently, on one of our doctors group WhatsApp groups, there was something posted where they might anticipate perhaps by July there might be something available, but I can't be 100% certain.
Is that July this year?
Yes.
Sure.
Asai,
Dankie, welkom terug.
Lekker.
dankie man. Jy het my sommer afgeskakel nou.
Ek dink jou heel afgeskakel. I apologize profusely.
No problem. Yes.
So there was just a question on vaccines, and so I think we can expect maybe a vaccine within the next year and a half.
All right. So there was a vaccine trial done I think in England. Apparently 2 weeks ago they started there, and 3 weeks ago in Cape Town they started the vaccine that's called the BCG, the old TB vaccine in Tygerberg Hospital. They vaccinated 250 health workers because apparently initially they thought that the BCG will also be helping there, but unfortunately we're not too sure about how scientific that was.
The BCG vaccine.
Yeah.
So you're saying it didn't work?
No. They initiated it 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
As
Andre.
So as far as I'm aware, there were theories of why South Africa or some of the African countries have had better outcomes, and they speculated that it was around the BCG vaccine. But I'm not, I'm not sure about if they actually proved that on studies. I think they've actually debunked that as well. So I'm not sure. Sorry, Benny. Can you need back up by any actually?
Okay, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. We have to wait and see. Yeah.
That's the question.
Hier's ons ek het al die moeilike vrae so vir ander gevra. Benny, hier sit vir jou. Ilse van der Linden vra, wat se tipe bed was dit?
Just in case you come across one and you must choose which one you're going to eat.
It was the one that Ozzy Osbourne bit first and then spit out. So I think it was a second-hand one. So.
Michael had a question. Why do they test the way that they do? He says that apparently it's quite painful, and can't they just take your blood? So can you maybe explain to us how they test and if they can do a blood test or not? Wie wil hom vat?
Jy het die meeste swabs al gedoen. Jy daai
Ek sal hom vat. So we do what we call a nasopharyngeal swab. The nasopharyngeal swab is only a swab. It looks like a ear swab that you use to clean your ear, which you shouldn't do. So that's the one that we use normally. We take one in the middle of the nose. We go very deep. So I think that's what people think. It's very painful and irritating. And then we did do a oropharyngeal where we actually put one in the back of the throat, but we don't do that often anymore. They say that the sensitivity and specificity of the test is enough to just do a nasal swab. We only do that. The thing about the blood test is because it's a mucous membrane illness, they apparently said initially that we had to take bloods, urine, oropharyngeal swabs and everything, but the test is only testing now the DNA or the RNA remnants of the COVID-19, almost like the bodies of that. So we don't pick it up in the bloods. We don't pick it up in blood test. So there is no blood test for that. So
unfortunately, Michael, a swab to the brain is the only way to test. I'm sure it's just uncomfortable. It's not sore, actually.
I think if you press it hard enough, you will probably go into the brain, but we don't press that hard.
You don't aim for that, right?
Then you're too deep. If you feel the brain, then you're too deep.
Okay, here's another question.
If you are positive, what do you do? Andra,
If you feel you're ill.
Well,
if you feel that you're ill, if you suspect that you have COVID, what should you do?
if you suspect, so in other words, you then probably know someone or have been in contact with someone who did test positive, then ideally you should also get tested, and then it's a 14-day quarantine. So that's if you're not that ill and need admission to hospital, then you quarantine for 14 days at home. There are quarantine facilities. I'm not 100% sure how that would work, but if you decide to quarantine at home, that means the whole family quarantines. It's not just the one individual, and then that would mean you don't leave your house for the 14 days. It's not quickly going to the shops. It means someone then needs to go and do shopping for you if you need it, drop it off at your doorstep, that kind of thing. So it's then whole family quarantines. If you can't as an individual self-quarantine at home, then it means the whole family needs to do it with you.
So I think that's a wonderful opportunity for us as a church. So if you are COVID positive and you can't go shopping, then please contact your community leader or your overseeing elder, and then we'd love to go shopping for you if you don't want to make use of the online facilities. And so it's just a small way that we can help each other. I think in stage 3 still you can't move around except if you've got a permit. So the elders are getting permits because we're now seen as essential services, finally. We always thought we were essential, but apparently we weren't. But we're essential again. We feel very special. And so we'd love to do your shopping for you, and just come drop it at your door with our mask, and we'll wash our hands and all that. So if you do find that you're COVID positive and you've got no other options, you can really contact us, and we'd love to help you by going shopping for you.
How long does it take for the test results?
How long does it take for the test results? Benny?
So, unfortunately, this is not just a test done in South Africa, it's done globally. So we have a little bit of a backlog. The problem is the lab that was using the test or conducting the test, apparently there was 1 or 2 lab technicians also tested positive now. So they have a backlog in Cape Town. So initially it took about 1 to 2 days, and now we're going about 5 days. So apparently it's a waiting time for 5 days. If you're admitted in hospital, there is a way to get the test results within 12 to 24 hours, but that's only when you're admitted, because we need to have that test there and then. So yeah, it's about a waiting time of 5 days, and if you're in hospital, 1 day.
Okay.
There are some private labs, just to add, private labs for some reason it's a bit faster. Then it generally 24 to 36 hours that you get it from the private labs.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, can I ask?
Yes.
Okay, so Harry wants to know, if I understand the question right, so the healthy is generally safer against the virus. If your body is healthier, then obviously you're safer for your body to deal with the virus. So what are your advice to give to us in terms of what can we do to keep ourselves more healthy, like vitamin C, he says here, like what are the things you can do to help you to be stronger against the virus?
Yeah, so I think the pillars of keeping healthy is always enough rest, enough exercise, healthy appetite, healthy meals. Sorry, not appetite. I think everybody's got a healthy appetite now. So yeah, I don't think there's something specific that you need to do for this. I just think keeping healthy is the cornerstone of this whole thing. So all the things in previous years still stays the same. So a healthy body and all the normal pillars for this. There's no specific treatment, no like specific route or anything It's just the normal healthy stuff.
Great. I think we're just going to ask one last question. How much does it cost to get tested privately? Do you guys know?
Amanda says 850.
Amanda at the
I
board.
think it's
Sorry, Andre.
they've reduced the price. It used to be just over 1,000, so they've reduced it. I think it's now just
850.
under.
I think. Yeah, I think it's 850, but for you special price 849.99.
850. and if you test multiple times, we'll give you a 2 plus 1.
If you take the whole family, if you take the whole family, you can get 4 tests for the price of 3.
So you can test privately for
We're
850.
actually not that sure.
Yeah. I see Amanda at the board also says you can test for 850 at Pathcare. And there is,
Yeah, I think it's 850. Yeah.
I don't think there's family discount. We were just joking.
Yes.
Andre, Benny, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. It's been informative.
Cool, man.
Thank you for being with us tonight. And
No problem, you guys.
we'll
Stay safe.
Stay home. Stay safe. Wear your facial masks. Wash your hands. Stay 1.5 meter away from each other. And we're going to make it through this thing. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
True.
And I'm going to
Thank you,
sign
guys.
off here, and then we're going to wrap it up. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
guys. All right.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. I just want to get our picture back up there. Waar is hy? Kan julle ons julle kan ons weer sien. So thanks guys for your time tonight. I think that was informative. Thanks for your questions. I hope we could answer a lot of those questions that you guys did have, maybe around coronavirus. But we're really excited to get back to church. Hopefully next week Sunday, definitely the week after. And yeah, it was great to chat about that, and just really looking forward to worship together again, even though it's going to look a little bit different, but we're going to get back to worshiping the way that we used to. So it was wonderful to spend tonight with you guys, and maybe we'll see you next week, maybe we won't. I'll send out a link if we're going to do another Friday Night Live. As we're moving more into a normal type church life, we'll be able to maybe drop this thing on a Friday night, and if you guys want, maybe we carry on. We'll see. We can have a bit of a, what do you call it? You can vote. If you want us to stay, send us a thumbs up. If you want us to not stay, then just keep quiet. Also, just want to say that the elders are able to now move around from Monday. We are getting essential services permits. And so if you do have counseling needs, you maybe want someone to come and pray for you, you want someone to maybe counsel you on some issues that you're facing, financial, maybe something in your marriage, maybe something with your children, maybe something with yourself, we are able to meet with you. We can meet at the church, and we can pray for you, and we can do some counseling. So please, if you want help and support, we are there for you guys, and we'd love to help you in this time. And so it's already, things are moving more back to a normal type of church life. We are missing you guys. We're missing the fellowship
And the contribution.
I think, we always say, Joshgen, if you use that acronym, the ABC, I think we've done a lot of abiding. We've done praying, we've done Bible reading, we've done spending time with the Lord. We've had a lot of excellent teaching, but it's that belonging, that friendship, fellowship, and family, which is really, we haven't been able to do as well. And then obviously the contributions, being able to contribute with your time, your talent, and your treasure. And so look for opportunities to bless people, look for opportunities to pray for people, look for opportunities to invite people to church. I do feel like the Lord will bring a lot of people into His kingdom in this time as we face really tough times, emotionally, financially, and physically. And so Be faithful in that, listen to the Holy Spirit, invite people to church. And let's trust that the Holy Spirit brings them into the body of Christ. Also this Sunday we are having an evangelism service, and so the whole service is going to be aimed at evangelism. We've sent out that little clip from Howie. We've sent out some posters. Please invite friends and family to that. Send them the link. We've got Jonathan Conradi. I know he's never been in Mossel Bay, but he's an evangelist, international evangelist, and he really does a powerful preach, and that will be on Almost Church for Sunday. And so I'm trusting that people will come to Jesus in that time. So that's it for tonight, and it was good to be with you guys. We did go a bit longer, but we'll see you on. Or we'll see you when we see you.
See you when we get there. I'll see you when we get there.
So we're going to sign off. Great to be with you guys. A little bit awkward there. I'm going to play a song, and then you can listen to the song maybe. All right, that's us for tonight. We'll see you soon. You like it? Bye.